Good evening. The Who's today were on at Canterbury, but before I say a few words about Canterbury, on Monday we had an ATC meeting at Gosford, and at Gosford the rail was in the normal position. The track was good. Now, interestingly, at the meeting, there were only the 7 races, but there wasn't a leader to win. They came very close in the last race. It led on the fence, Quick's the Word, and got beat a half an inch. And there were a couple of other runners that were up near the lead that didn't get beat far either, and runners that slid through on the fence that never got beat far. And it was interesting that nothing on the fence won. I just wonder whether the fence was just slightly inferior, although in the last race, I don't think it was. The winner in the last came around the heels of the leader to grab it near the line. And as I say, the leader, Quick's the Word, the favourite, although, no, it didn't start favourite. We'll get to that later. It only got beat the nose. Now look, at the meeting, I'll only say a few things. The most interesting, well, the first race is nothing to say. Twisted Emotion's the favourite, ridden by horseman Huey Bowman. He was able to arrive on the line, given a good ride. It, of course, was supposed to go around at the Goulburn meeting, which was abandoned. Funny that a Goulburn meeting, I can't work it out. I was at that meeting, and I just don't know the difference. I must admit we did leave, but when they postponed the meeting or abandoned the meeting, there was visibility. You could see the mountains was crystal clear. And they said there was poor visibility, but the Saturday before, we keep on saying at Warwick Farm, when there was a Group 1 race, more prize money, well, they went around and you couldn't see your nose, let alone further up the track. But anyway, we don't want to see any of the hickey hockeys injure themselves. Now, as I say, in that first race, horseman Bowman got it home. In the second race, there's nothing much to say. 4 of them went across the line together. 1 of them got trapped wide. Third race, nothing much to say. The winner sat outside the lead. Race 4, the 2100 metre race, they plugged away to the line. Race 5, now look, Blind Freddy, this horse of Guy Walters, Alcaraz, it appears to be fairly good. It rounded them up. It drew a very wide alley. It had the outs. There were 11 runners that drew barrier 11, and ridden by, I hope he stays on this horse because it'll suit him down to the ground. He's such a great rider. The perfectly balanced Rodney Quinn. He just let it find its feet early, and he eased it. It went back to third last position. He knew what he had under him. The favourite, Gister, it went straight to the lead. It did sweat up and led on the fence, but when they turned for home, he got on the back. It eased out in front of him. The second favourite, Future Shock, who's got plenty of ability, it raced up as if it was going to grab which it did. It finish up running second, run up and get to the lead, which it did. But Alcatraz just came off its back and finished up beating it by a length, with Rodney Quinn being a bit kind to it. Of course, it had a big spell after winning at Gosford as its first start. It was put away because of problems, and resumed with a soft kill down at Kembla, and of course it finished up winning today, making it 3 out of 3. And if it stays sound, as Guy Walter said, there's no doubt there's improvement in the horse, and it will win in town for sure. The next race, nothing to say. Bolsari plugged away and was able to win in a close finish. And figures-wise for bookies, it was a ghost town for a start. There was just nobody there except the pros. There's nobody there. It was a very ocean meeting. And when we came to the last, well, you could average them out better, but at top odds, on the screen in the last race, they said there was only 99.8, but about the 100. But in the marketplace, we only gave about 90. These were the flux in that last race. Quicks a word, opened up $3.20, got out to $3.50, killed for. I laid 5,000 or 2,000 at one stage, and they even took $3.30 off me, and I was $4.80 when they jumped. The next runner rushing to win, it was $4 out to $6.50 taken, and I think I might have got 1,200 out of $6.50 at one stage, and it was $8 begging at the finish. Midnight Mix, very well backed, only got beat, ran third, got beat 0.1, 0.2 of a length, nose and nose more or less, short nose by a short head. It was $8 into $6, very well backed. Grand Cooler, $4 out to $6 given about Grand Cooler, started the Avery at $4. They killed you for $4.20 at the finish. Spellbinding went from $6 out to $9, back into $6.50, $7. Annabelle's, the winner, the pros found it, was $8.50 out to as much as $17 taken. I think I might have laid 5,000 against it at those odds. Fandom, it was labelled at $26 and started around about the $21 mark. Misalignment, they took $16, started 15, in the money was 30 out to 71, and down near the bottom, Carnegie Hall was about a $50 chance out to 300. Figures disgraceful. If you average them out, you might have, but the winner was very well found, and by the pros. That was about the meeting there. I suggest it is to be followed, that runner of Guy Walters, Al Caraz. Now, we came to Canterbury today, and as I have been pointing out about Canterbury, it's playing very fair, this track. You can lead on the fence and win, and if there's enough pace, and you can also come around them or in between them. Very fair track, Canterbury, at the moment. Now, the figures all day were hopeless. In this first race, we only gave 95. They said there was 100.7 on the screen. In the marketplace, only 95%. And it led all the way. Just a Girl, the runner that got the Dream Run at Newcastle. It got the Dream Run again today. It went straight to the lead, ridden by the brilliant Blake Shin, or bold Blake Shin, whichever one you like. And he rated this filly well in front, and she was able to win by 2.3 lengths. She was fairly strong to the line. She opened up a $7.50 chance, a 13 to 2 pop, got out to a 15 to 2 pop, 8.50, but only started about in one stage back into 7.50, but got back out to 8. It was back Roll the Bones when it got out to, well, you wouldn't see it, $4.40 given about Roll the Bones. It started $4 by the same token. You wouldn't, most probably wouldn't even see that. Now, the next runner, it was the runner where this race was no good at all. Unfortunately, got trapped wide in the run. I'm talking about Vital. It went from a $3.50 chance out to $6.50. Literally didn't have a price. Amarachi was well back from $5 into $3.80. It started the Avery. Just a Girl, I told you. Fast Folk, it was well backed, $8, $7 I should say, into $5.50. Vision was a bit hard to lay, although they did take $14, 9 out to $15 actually, back into 13. And Roscoe Carberry, it was 15 out to $21. It led all the way. Just a Girl, it got trapped wide in the run. Vital, not the place to be. The second race, they said there was 104.1 on the screen. There was only 96% in the marketplace, and the Avery just went down here, Rich and Famous. It led on the fence, and sitting back in fourth last position on the fence after copping a bit of a check at the start and being slightly slow out was the winner, Triple Fortune, who was extremely well back from $8 into $6 taken. Only started about a 9 to 2 chance, extremely well backed. Now, this race, where it was no good for the captains, was the top weight. It literally didn't have a price. King of Olympia, resuming from a spell today. We put it up a 4-to-1 chance, 4-to-1, $4 chance, 3-to-1, clear second favourite, but it started $8. It literally didn't have a price. It was gone to Gowings before the starter pressed go. It went from, as I say, $4 out to $8, and ridden by the pumper, trained by Gay. The pumper's instructions were, of course, go forward, my son, which he did. It led the favourite on the fence, Diamond Costa on its outside, and the pumper, following instructions to the tee, went forward, and it was trapped 3 wide outside the leaders. It was gone before the turn. It only got beat 10 lengths running last. It's got a trial next start before it starts again next start. The favourite, as I said, led, and it was nabbed on the line by the well-backed Triple Fortune from the Waller camp, and getting a good run just in behind the pace was Car Catch Me, and it was always well in the market. It was $5.50 killed for at one stage after opening up at 5, but it did start $6. It sat in 5th position, one off the fence, and it split the two when the first and second when they hit the line. The margins are only 0.1 by 0.2 of a length. The Grumble and Grunters found the 3 best back runners in the race to hit the line together. They were the 3 that they wanted, and they got the trifecta. Race 3, they said there was 103.3 on the screen. There was only a neat 100 in the marketplace, and this race was won by Diamond Drill, trained by Gay. It didn't lead. Well, you knew it wouldn't lead, but you knew it wasn't going to be far away, and that was the case. It sat 3rd on the fence. Leading in this race was Full View from barrier 1, and when they hit the line, the 3 runners that they backed again ran the trifecta. Diamond Drill opened up a $3 equal favourite with Tigress Baby, but it got out to the winner, Diamond Drill, out to $3.73.80, but it was extremely well back towards the end of betting, in the last minute of betting, to only start about $3.40, whereas Tigress Baby, we only gave the neat 100. We were playing spy with the punters here. It opened up $3 and got out to $3.20, excuse me. Windbender, it was resuming today. It opened up $6 and got out to as much as $7, and it only started $4.80. And resume the game, it was a bit easy in the market. It went from $5.50 out to $7.50. The next runner was $13 out to 21. It was backed Zuccarina from 18 into 13, and the bottom one was $19 taken Full View back into about 18, around about the neat 100, and the winner got a good split after turning for home. Whereas down the back, at one stage when Tigress Baby just shifted out, they were racing in pairs, and they were running second last and last. And when Tigress Baby just shifted off the fence a little bit, ridden by Father Schofield, who pulled up with a unfortunately sore back, and he was stood down for the rest of the day. Catwalk Corey, he tried to push out on Windbender. If he were able to do that at that stage and get his momentum up, I have no doubt it would have won. But Father Schofield said no. Unfortunately, Catwalk Corey, you've got to stay inside me, and he pushed him back in there, and they had a bit of a bumping duel, which was enough to I think cost the both of them running first and second. The margins were 0.5 by 0.6. By the same token, Tigress Baby did race up as if it were going to lead, and most probably got in front of the winner after turning for home, but the winner had the soft run and was able to get through and beat them, as I say, or win by 1/2 of a length. The 4th race, they said there was 101.2 on the screen. There was only 97% of the marketplace, and this winner, Messine, it got a good run, and they didn't, well, bookies reached for it, and they didn't forget to back this runner. These were the flux in this race. Definite Choice went from 12 out to 26 back into 21. Swift Judgment, it more or less didn't have a price. It went from $4 out to $6.50 given late, taken into $6. Mezzine, who did strike the lottery, but by the same token did find the line strong. It went from a $2.30 chance out to $2.70 back into about a $2.20 or $2.25 chance, 5 to 4. Survey Moss was always liable. I'd got plenty of out of it at Survey Moss at $5. I also had a bad result on the race, laying the favourite like a fool. I gave the $2.70. But Survey Moss, which started $5, was you can get whatever you want out of it at one stage at 5. Prince Warrior, well backed after opening up 7, got out to 8. Only started about a $7 chance, hard to get, was into $6.50 at one stage. Morocco, well back from $13.14 early, back into about $11 chance, but got back to 14. And Orbiter was 31 out to 81. It led in the race, Prince Warrior, and it did run along with Orbiter, making sure it did, and just getting the cosy run behind them on the fence from barrier 1 was Messine. And as Mark Sheen said, halfway around the circle, if Orbiter, ridden by Lindsay, I think, well, why didn't he just stay on the fence? So I'm, of course, hoping. But if he was chasing the leader, and he at one stage, it did for 2 strides, it did look like, as Mark Sheen pointed out, that he was going to fall back into the face of the favourite Morocco on the fence, but he didn't, and he stayed a little bit off the fence, and it was there was plenty of room for Morocco to go through, and all he had to do was get around the heels of the leader, Prince Warrior, who had run along very fast, and the race was more or less over. Coming from last was Survey Moss, and Swift Judgment, who was back running third last. Instead of going wide on the turn, ridden by Horseman and Bowman, he switched back to the inside. It had the blinkers on today for the first time, and it looked like for one stride he could have sprinted and gone out after the leader, but it was evident after they flattened out, nothing was going to be able to catch the favourite, and the punters cheered. Race 5 on the screen for the robots. The poor robots are in there on the screen. There's a robot up the end there somewhere. He's got all the steamers betting with him. 97, sorry about that, robots. 97.9 we only gave in the marketplace. That was on the screen. In the marketplace, about 3 less, around only about 95. These were the flux. Al's Gold went from a neat $8 out to $17. Didn't have a price. This was a huge difference to me. Cool Claim, ridden perfectly by Catwalk Corey. I didn't really like it. Opened up $6, got out to $6.50. They took $6.50 off me, $5.50, and they killed me for $5 at the death. Started $4.80, hard to get. Flight of Pegasus went from 16 out to 19. The next one, a Dragon Zone, 13 out to 16 or 15, back into about $14, backed by the pros. My Highlight, I laid it for the place at $3.50. As it got into third hole, it went from $13 out to 16 or 15, 16. Now Dolphy's Boy, it went from $16 out to 26, back into 21. It only had to draw an alley and it would have won. Vatishan, unbelievably back to 3-year-old here. Vatishan, we put it up $3.50 equal favourite with Kingdoms. Vatishan was killed for. They killed you for $3.50, $3.40, $3.30, $3.20, $3.10, $3, $2.90, and they how much you at the $2.80. I must admit I was $2.70 or $2.80 when they jumped. I did stand it for a good bit of section. How was it going to win Vatishan? Anyone tell me that? But by the same token, the other runner, Kingdoms, the other 3-year-old in the race, we put it up a $3.50 equal favourite. 5 to 2 a pair, we said, and 5 to 2 the field, and it got out to as much as $5. Kingdoms, and it had every chance. Wobbled around the turn, and the bottom one, Dream Supreme, went from $21 out to 31, back into 26. This will tell you how poor the form out of this race might be. They ran 1:56.11. They came home in 37:59. Now, the leader in this race and the horse that ran second, Dolphy's Boy, ridden by the brilliant Brendan Avdulla, he was trapped wide right up near the lead. Leading on the fence or trying to hold them out was Vadashan early when they went past the winning post the first time, with the Kingdoms on us outside, the 2 3-year-olds, and Dream Supreme somewhere around there. And of course, Dolphy's Boy was trapped out wide, and he pressed forward brilliant Brendan, and it took him till just before they more or less flattened out in the back straight to get to the lead, using a good bit of petrol. And when he got to the lead, he didn't dawdle. He kept a good, a fair pace. And when they and getting a great run was Vadashan and Kingdoms on us outside. They wobbled, Kingdoms wobbled around the turn. Vadashan was sort of put a 2 strides, and then it was gone, and it was left up to Catwalk Corey, who was trailing Vadashan all the way from barrier 3, easing off, heels turning for home and getting a split. And you would think when the other 2 dropped off that he would be able to round up when he levelled out the leader fairly easily, but it took him the entire length of the straight to bob him on the line and beat him by 0.1 of a length. A fairly average win. The 4 most probably no good out of that race. Race 6, this was legless. We gave 95.4 on the screen. Look, the robots, they'll call the fraud squad the robots. They'll say when they talk to the police, they'll say those bookies in the main ring, they're absolutely mad. They've put that 95.4 on the screen, and that means we're giving these people here who are supposed to take under the odds, we're giving them losing figures, even on us robots. We can't have that. But in the marketplace where we were, there was 92%, and these were the flux in this race. It opened up Savant a $2.30 chance, 11 to 8 bar its second pick. Now it got out to as much as $4.80. It was only $2.30 to $4.80. It did start only $4.20. The favourite in this race and winner, Radiator, who was an absolute moral beaten last start. The reason this horse got home today was the 3 kilo rider, Jay Cassidy. What a champion rider he is. It went up 5 to 4 the field, favourite. Now, it got out to $2.50 in places, at $2.40 general, and it was killed for. And like an absolute mug, that's me, I'm telling you, I'm the biggest steam tug out there. I absolutely filled my bag at $2.40, and everyone knew it was going to win, of course, and it was $2.80 begging at the finish. You couldn't give it away at the finish of betting, and I did an absolute squillion on it at $2.40. I am the biggest mug around. Now, the next runner, Arrowette, who went 100 miles an hour, it needs a wet track, this horse. It went from, it opened up an $8 chance, 7 to 1, and got out to $9, an 8 to 1 pop, but it only started $5.50, and it went really fast in front. At one stage, it was 5 lengths in front of, guess who? Radiator and Jay Cassidy. He rated it absolutely perfect. The next runner, Express Power, trained by Chris Lees, been beating a team of trotters up around the bush. It went up a $4.60 chance, third pick, and it got out to as much as $5.50, hard to get by the same token. Back into only start $4, a 3 to 1 chance. The next runner, Star Pass, was 20 out to 26, or 16 out to 26. The next runner, Aphrodite, it was 41 to 101, and Recited, it was 101 out to 301, only about 92. And the Avery Radiator, all those punters who took the 240 off me, they knew what the story was going to be. It got home by 1 length. The pumper, he let it run along Arrowette. It finished up running third Arrowette. Coming off the pumper's back was Express Power from barrier 1. On its outside was Savant from barrier 2. I thought very disappointing. I must admit, for 2 strides, or when they turned for home, when they were all full bore, but I did think, I might have been hoping, that was the thing, I most probably was hoping, not thinking, I was hoping that Savant and or Express Power, I said, well, one of these two will race up and get Radiator, who looked like getting the leader. But all of a sudden Savant dropped off, as its price drift suggested, and it was up to Express Power. And I must admit, for another stride, I said, well, it'll get Radiator now, who had already had covered Arrowette, but it wasn't to be, and the pumper pulled out the extra bit at the finish. The 3 kilos helped, and he won by a clear length. We came to the last, and this was all right figure-wise. There was 105.8 on the screen. The fraud squad said we can't do anything about that, so they went home. In the marketplace, we might have got about 102 here, if you were able to lay every runner, of course. Mighty Obvious went from $13 chance, 12 to 1 out to 41, back into 31. Territory, $9 out to 11, back into 10. Midnight at Ascot, 16 out to 41, back to 31. No Bad Blood, $8 out to $12 given, started about a $9.50 chance. Mac Chua went from 21 out to 41. Chamonte, the winner, it opened up the $4.60 second favourite. It got out to as much as $6.50, plenty of it, only started $5.50. Montverde went from 31 out to 81, back into 61. Agent, a $12 chance out to 14, back into about a $12 pop. And we put it up $1.70 Betrayal. It got out to as much as $1.90, which was laid on, and it started $1.80. And when it didn't find the bunny, well, it was always going to be a little bit difficult for Betrayal. Betrayal was having its first start for Bjorn Baker. It was originally trained by Gay. Of course, we saw it win its first race at Canterbury when it beat a team of trotters. And then it went to Warwick Farm, and it got distance. And then well, it went second its first start, then it won at Canterbury, and then it got distance after going up, being up near the lead at Warwick Farm. It was put away. I think it might have had a trial for Gay, and then of course a trial the other day for Bjorn Baker where it bolted in. But unfortunately for Betrayal's punters, when Mighty Obvious kicked through and led, and No Bad Blood tried to push up in between them, and Betrayal couldn't find the bunny or even sit outside, finish up sitting outside the lead. It used a bit of petrol. It was always going to be a little bit difficult from there on, and unfortunately it finished up dropping out and running last, beaten 7.3 lengths. The winner, the second pick, Charmonte, who was trapped wide, as we all know, at Rose Hill last start. The start before that, when it did win at Canterbury, it did strike the lottery, but at its last run at Rose Hill, it was entitled to, I thought, drop out a little bit, or not hold on as well as it did last start after being trapped wide all the way at Rose Hill. And today he rode a good race, because early when they hit the first bend, he was going to be trapped 3 wide and looked like being stuck there for the remainder of the race. Clever Kieran McAvoy, but he said, no, I've got to ease here, which he did, and fortunately he was able to ease in and get on the back of the horse to finish up running second, Agent. Luckily for him, Montverde, who was back, wasn't able to kick up, and Kieran was able to slot in to before the turn and get some cover on the winner and ease off Agent's heels, who leading in this race, as I say, was Mighty Obvious. The favourite was gone before the turn, and when Agent moved up, Kieran came off its back and was able to nab it on the line, beat it by 0.1 of a length, and getting a lovely suck, Territory, who got inside the lead of Mighty Obvious, it looked like it was going to win, and especially after having the soft run. So its run was a bit disappointing, really. It only got by lead point at 6 of a length, but it was entitled to win with the run that it had, and the other two grabbed it on the line, with Charmonte getting the prize. That was about the meeting. The track played very fair, as I said. I hope you had if you were betting, you won. Wyong is on tomorrow, and then of course the Randwick Guineas meeting on at Warwick Farm on Saturday. Good evening.